So interviews with Monster Girls went in a very different direction than I was originally assuming they would go based on the description that the synopsis had for this, and also just looking at the character designs and everything like that. I thought it was going to be a simple, cute, and very moe-esque style show at times, and though it is that, it's doing something very different, which is making it very unique to me, and I'm really interested to see where it's going, because it's a simple concept. What if these vampires, what if succubus, what if all these individual fictional creatures that we have made in fiction were real, but they were very, very unique? Like, they weren't actually a common thing. Like, you could see a million people and there wouldn't be a Demi, which is one of these fictional creatures, in sight. So they're a very rare entity, but what if they did exist, and what if you were in a situation where you're around them? How would people interact with them? And I thought they were going to go the route of everyone just treats them normal and they're going to have, oh, she's a vampire just doing her vampire things. But they're going in the route of people aren't afraid of them, at least not yet. I'm sure there is going to be people who are afraid of them, but it's more of the approach of, oh, we need to be delicate because this girl's head isn't attached to her body. We can't talk to her about that because it would probably make her sad. And in doing so, you're seeing characters who are demis actually kind of sad and depressed because people are treating them so different because they are unique from other humans. And in doing so, you're creating a very interesting social dynamic, as it's very similar to things that happen in our world with racism and all that other things, but people, because, like, as an example, if I was the only white guy in a class of only African Americans, things like that could happen. I mean, it's kind of the same situation, but they're going in that route, and in doing so, it's making it feel like a really interesting dynamic, as it feels very similar to our own world, but they're adding the mythical element to it. In doing so, it's just a really entertaining dynamic, and not to mention the comedy, it had me laughing. I think the anime name is Masumi-kun's Revenge or something like that. It's very similar to that. It actually had me laughing, which I'm surprised. Like, I thought this would be comedy that it would entertain me, but it wouldn't make me laugh. But there was some times with the facial expressions that it had me laughing, or as an example, when the vampire girl is literally saying, like, well, actually, I do have these, like, sensations of suck on blood. Like, remember that girl who's, like, literally that snow girl? She's as cold as ice. I just get the sensation that I just want to go up against her because she's cold, and I'm a vampire. I hate heat and sunlight. And then the sensation of her warm blood, it would be a nice contrast. That had me laughing. It's a really entertaining cast and just character dynamic, as we have this teacher who just wants to interview demis, but he's never been able to see them. And then this new school year starts. The teacher's a succubus who can't be around him because she dresses in a way that won't make her sexual, so she doesn't lure guys and other women into her proximity so she won't accidentally just destroy them. We have this vampire girl. We have a headless girl. I forget the name of that. I think it's a Dulahan, if I'm not mistaken. We have a girl who's like the snow girl. There's so many interesting cast dynamic here that it just has me so entertaining, and I can't wait to see where it goes, because I think this is going to be not only a very funny and simple and cute series, but it's going to do some interesting thing with social behavior, where we will see characters go out of the way to be weird towards these characters because, oh, her head isn't attached to her body, I'm going to bully her, or I'm going to be afraid of her, things like that. So it's interesting how this is all going to play a factor and how they're going to go. I don't know how extreme the social issues are going to go with this, if it will just be a sub side of it. I'm hoping it'll stay more sub and kind of subtle, and the main focus will be on the comedy and character dynamics, but I think it is a very nice addition to this overall, and it makes it so much different than I was expecting overall. And I have to say, the opening song is really cool. It's nothing out of the ordinary from the song or even the visuals, but it does something really clever with the visuals, as it's showing us, as most openings do, the overall cast. It's showing us each girl and each character, but when it's flipping through this book, it shows us like a different storybook story, pretty much, when we have a different visual for each girl, and I thought it was really clever with its use of that. It's just something that caught my eye, and I really appreciated the visuals and how they're introducing each character with a different storybook image to it. I have to say, like, the overall visual presentation to the audio with the voice acting, I thought it was very simplistic and very sweet, and I thought matched what we were going for here very well, but the comedy really had me laughing, especially the interview with the vampire girl, and how she's explaining, well, I do like garlic, so I guess this vampire thing is actually wrong, but actually, if you stabbed a stake through my heart, I would die probably. And then his response is, well, yeah, I mean, a human would die too from that. it's just interesting. Like, we have all these, like, well, this is what a vampire is, but then they apply it. Well, actually, it's, like, far off. Like, it's not actually true what a vampire is in this world, but there is some similarities with the blood and everything like that, and how she doesn't actually need to drink it. She drinks, like, this bag of blood a month that the government gives her, but pretty much she lives off, like, liver and things like that. So she has the ability to live without actually sucking blood. It's just a really interesting way of twisting things we know with things like vampires, duels, and all these other things, but actually just putting it in a very more normal situation and how normal people would interact with them. And I just thought it was overall a funny anime, but also one that really makes me impressed by how it's handling social behavior with normal people as well as pretty much demons. So I was really impressed with this, but for anyone who watched the first episode of this, how did you find it? Did you enjoy it? Did you hate it? Did you find it funny like me? Because this had me laughing quite a few times, especially with this teacher's facial reactions. Like, that guy has some of the best faces I've seen so far from this season. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and as always, hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.